There's been a market panic after the European Central Bank asked for more details about Italian banks' impaired loans. How healthy are Italian banks?
Before I come to the health of the banking sector, let me clarify. What the ECB has done is to send a standard request form about qualitative measures that 40 European banks are taking as a measure to deal with NPLs. Unfortunately, the only names of banks that came out and were leaked refer to Italian banks. So this is not an Italian bank affair. This at number one. Number two, the Italian banking system is very healthy, strong fundamentals. Yes, we have NPLs to deal with. We are already taking measures to do it, and we're already seeing NPLs decreasing.
So how do you see the Italian banks perform this year? Do you think there will be a gradual recovery, or do you think investors should still be concerned?
We already see performance improving. NPLs have stopped increasing. You know, they have a lag. And credit to households and companies are growing. So this will bring back profits to banks. And as the economy grows more rapidly, this will reflect positively on banks' balance sheets and, of course, on the whole of the economy.
The International Monetary Fund estimates GDP growth of Italy to reach about 1.3% in 2016 and then 1.2% in the next year. What is your growth outlook?
Our growth outlook is slightly higher than the IMF. We will see. We haven't revised the outlook for some time. We will do it shortly. But let me point out one thing, that in the context of a slowing euro area economy, the Italian economy is accelerating and it is producing more jobs than expected, better quality jobs thanks to structural reforms and tax incentives.
European Central Bank President Draghi said that the government spending to help the refugees from Syria and Iraq coming to Europe to stimulate growth in the continent. Do you agree with this statement?
Well, of course, spending does by definition stimulate growth. The issue is that we need a European strategy for dealing with the migration flows, which should have a European dimension in terms of European budget contribution, but also, of course, much can be done at the individual countries level.
Recent data shows that Italy's debt levels remain above 130% of GDP, the second highest in the Eurobloc after Greece. What is the government doing in order to cut the debt?
Well, the big news is not that the debt is high. The good news is that starting 2016, this year, debt will begin to decline after 8 years of increase. And what the government is doing is to support growth, to continue having a tight fiscal stance. We continue to have a positive primary surplus in a context of declining interest rates. All of this with a bit more nominal growth, which is not due to our policy impact, but with stronger real growth. Debt will start declining this year and will accelerate its declining going forward.
What kind of impact will the December US interest rate hike have on Italy's economy this year?
Well, the impact is negligible, also because this has to be confronted with what the ECB is doing. The ECB has announced that it will continue to provide QE and stimulus to the economy, which I think is appropriate. Let me remind that the US QE, which has several stages, took 3 to 4 years to produce an impact. The European QE has been in place only for 1 year so far. So we need to give monetary policy time to produce fully its effects.